So you made it through the DVD presentation, and you've actually made the choice of going ahead to take a closer look at our system and actually how we build a business in a very easy and duplicable way. Now, we have a system called the 4-step system. Now, it's important that once you get going, you go through each and every step along the way, and don't skip any one of them, okay? There's a lot of psychology behind each and every step, and once you get an opportunity to meet me in person, you'll actually see me go a little bit more into the details. However, in this short training, we'll go through the steps in themselves, and you can actually see how easy they are to follow. First of all, the first step is be a product of the product. And by that we mean when you actually want to go out and have a cup of coffee, when you want to have a cup of tea somewhere, bring your own coffee. Ask for hot water, ask the waiter for hot water, and pay for it as it would be a tea water, because at the end of the day, you're actually sitting there using their premises and you want to be respectful. But drink your own coffee. And I always thought that if you are supplying products yourself, it's better to buy products from yourself than buying it from anyone else. You know, I didn't drink coffee and tea, as you know, when I got started in OrganoGold. However, I do now drink all the different beverages. I love them. Some of them I love more than the others, but I am definitely a product of the product. The next thing you want to do within step one is to set yourself up on the proper ordership. And, you know, when you want to set yourself up on the proper ordership, you can select a few different amounts. The minimum is 50 euros on a monthly basis plus shipping and VAT. And the next one is 100, you know, but I always say this, don't make your minimums your maximums. You want to set yourself up on proper ordership for a few different reasons. Number one, you're a distributor. And when you're a distributor, you need products yourself. You need them for your own consumption, your family's consumption. At the same point in time, you will also need them for sampling. You will also need some boxes that you may want to sell and offer to people that want to get your coffee and tea. So make sure you set yourself up on the proper ordership. At the same point in time, you also want to make sure it's set up so that you receive your monthly and weekly commissions. As being part of OrganoGold, there is a minimum requirement, either 50 or 100. So make sure you get that set up straight away. Okay. Next thing you want to do is you want to make a testimonial. Send in your testimonial either to your sponsor or to your upline, because we want to hear your story. Everyone want to know the experience that you may have had within your first 24 to 48 hours. It may be that you now feel more energized. It may be that you feel that you've gotten a better sleep. It also may feel that you just love the taste of the products. Whatever that testimonial is, just make sure you get it done, send it to your sponsor, send it to your upline so you can share it with the world. And then you want to make sure that you buy a box of black and a box of Latte, depending on where you are in the world. You see, OrganoGold have offices in different parts of the world, and if you are able to get your products over the counter once you get started, then there's no need for this particular step. However, if you're in a country, specifically more to Europe, where products are being shipped home to us, we want to make sure that once we go to a presentation, we want to buy a box of black and a box of Latte straight away. Reason being, once you actually go out there talking to friends, talking to family, talking to people who you may want to get involved in the business, either as a retail customer or as a partner in your business, it's important that you get them to try your products. You don't want to wait 5-6 days before your products arrive to your home address or to your office address. You want to make sure that you have a sample on hand right here and right now. That concludes our step number one, and it will take us to step number two. All right, you made it through step number one. Now we're going to do step number two. One thing that I've learned in direct sales or network marketing is that you want to make sure that you set up a proper list of contacts. Be it for your retail customers or be it for the partners that you'd like to introduce and do business with. But it is essential that you get your list done, and it is essential that you get your list done as soon as you possibly can, preferably within the first 24 to 48 hours. Your list is going to get longer and longer, but in our step number 2, we recommend that you start with at least 50 people that you know who drinks coffee or tea at least occasionally, and 50 people that you could see yourself doing the business with, or that you know could need a little bit of extra cash, a little bit of extra income. So you want to set up those 2 lists. Once you've set those 2 lists up, you want to make sure that you differentiate between the different contacts. Some of them may be in your neighborhood. We would call those locally. Then you would have some people that may be outside of your neighborhood, maybe in different cities. You would call them nationally. And then also, you may have people that you know around the world. You would actually then set them down as international contacts. You want to make sure that you set that up, preferably in an Excel sheet, so that you have a good overview of where your contacts are from, their phone numbers, their email addresses, etc. So make sure that you set that up. Minimum of 50 coffee drinkers, a minimum of 50 business builders. Now, don't prejudge. This is something I learned a long time ago. I thought that when I was actually going into the network marketing business, I thought that I had to, start thinking of who's going to be drinking coffee this way or who's going to be drinking coffee that way. No. Don't even go in there. As long as people, they drink coffee, tea, or hot chocolate, they need to be on your list. And if you know people, just like myself, that want to make some extra cash, which actually means everybody, you want to make sure that you get them down on your list as well. Okay, so that's your list. That's number 1. Number 2 is, within the step number 2 is you want to learn the 4 questions. The 4 questions, we have a script on it in your presentation. However, let's just go over them real fast here. First question is, do you or someone you know drink coffee or tea at least occasionally? Second question would be, how would you normally take your coffee? Black or with milk and sugar or cream and sugar, depending on where you are in the world and how you would say it. Third question would be, do you have a favorite brand? And if they don't say anything, then maybe you want to help them out. Maybe just say, is it Starbucks? Is it Gloria Jeans? Is this Maxwell House? Is it Nestle? Whatever, a few different brands that may be local to their specific market. Just to help them out a little bit, because what you want is an answer in return. And then the last question would be, so when was the last time that brand paid you to drink their coffee or tea? And they're going to be laughing, looking at you funny and say, never. And of course, you'll say back, of course, I know they never paid me either. But listen, let me give you a sample of the coffee that pays. And you will then be handing them a sample and you would say, in return, all I want to know is how it tastes and how it makes you feel. And I want to follow up with you. So let me give you a call tomorrow at XYZ time, and then you would follow up with the person. We also have a follow-up script so that you follow that one as well. That's the 4 questions. You want to make sure that you follow those. Next part is you want to get 10 retail customers. 10 retail customers, you want to get those within the next 24 to 48 hours, because once you do, your belief level goes so much higher. And you're going to be on a high believing that, look, I was able to move 10, 20, 30 boxes of coffee, and you were able to do it just over the telephone by following the simple script that we have. There's a simple script in the presentation folder, or you may also be supplied with a few more examples of scripts that I made myself personally. So you take a look at them, you choose the one that you feel most comfortable with, and you get those first 10 retail customers. Because I'll tell you this, it's nothing like being able to start a business in your first day or second day and being able to get money back, getting return of investment. It's nothing sweeter than that. And that concludes our step number 2, and we're going to go over to step number 3. All right, welcome back. Now we're going to talk about step number 3. Step number 3 is making sure that you set up 4 CGMs. CGM stands for coffee and jazz mixers. All you do is making sure that you follow the script on how to set up a coffee and jazz mixer in the OG Planner. If you haven't already gotten one, make sure that you order one from your website, or you may want to talk to your upline sponsor and ask them if they have one on hand that you could buy off from them. Now, Doing a CGM is actually quite simple without actually going through the whole script, but I recommend you do so. But just to give you the essentials here, making sure that you invite a few friends over, you put on the kettle, making sure you have hot water, you have a few different samples of your products. Don't be cheap on your products. Make sure that you open up 5-6 different varieties of coffees and teas so that your guests may be able to try the different products. Then you want to do a business presentation, either like the one that I did, if you feel comfortable doing one, or you could actually use the Coffee That Pays, where Mr. Holton Boggs is doing a presentation, or if you'd like to, you could also use the presentation that you've seen me done, and all you do is just put it into the DVD player, put it up on the big screen, and let people see and get an understanding of the business concept. That's actually how you set up a CGM. Very simple, straightforward. It can be in your private home, or it can be at a cafe, or it can be in the office. Your choice. Now, what you want to make sure of is that once you have your CGM set up and you've done it at your place, you may want to actually go out and do a CGM at one of your friends' places. In other words, if someone decides to join your business, they come home to you the first night and they like the business concept, and now you would like to actually help them do a CGM just like you've done at your place, you then go to their place and you help them set one up. So when we talk about doing 4 CGMs, it doesn't mean necessarily that all those 4 will be starting at your place. Maybe the first one does, but then the second, third, and the fourth, and so on, could then be at people's place that you actually invited in the first place. That concludes our step number 3, and it leaves us just with 1 step left, which is step number 4. Okay, you made it to step number 4. You've gone through 1, 2, 3, and 4. Congratulations. This is the last step, and it's an easy one. But it's very important that you take notes on this and you write it down. The first part in step number 4 is to set up an 18-month commitment to the business, to your sponsor, to your upline, and to the team that you will be building. And most importantly, that you make that commitment to yourself. You know, any business that you want to set up, you want to make sure that you're committed to succeed. And you may notice I didn't say 6 months or 12 months, but I said 18 months commitment. Okay? So before you even think about changing your mind, before something may come along the way, maybe you will have some ups and downs, don't even consider looking left, right, behind you. You just go ahead, keep laser sharp focus over the next 18 months, regardless if you're doing this part-time, full-time, sometimes, just make sure that you have an 18-month commitment. Next part you want to do is you want to participate in weekly CGMs. You want to set up your CGMs and you want to participate in your downlines, your team's CGMs as well. You also want to make sure that you participate on weekly training calls and weekly trainings that may be live. You want to make sure that you participate in as many as you possibly can. Reason being, the more development, personal development you can get yourself, the more you'll also be able to give back to the team that you actually will be building with Organo Gold. And then the last step in step number 4 is to make sure that you participate in any conferences, you know, should they be nationally, we call them Super Saturdays. Sometimes we have VIP events and sometimes we have conventions. They may be every 6 months, they may be every year, but make sure that you participate in all of them. And with that, you also want to make sure that you follow the system. Follow all 4 steps, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Don't skip any of them, just make sure that you follow them. It's very easy and we have proven success, and this have worked for the last 6.5 years, and I do believe it's going to last for the next 60 years. So make sure you don't skip any of them. That concludes our 4-step training. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the top. And remember, it's easy, it's simple, it's coffee.